everybody. My name is Nicole Molinaro Karaczun.
And I'm Rhonda Fleming, and we are your MCs for this afternoon.
Woo! All right. We would like to welcome everybody to the very exciting kickoff for the hashtag Father's Day Pledge PA events in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's have a round of applause because we're very excited to be here with you today. Rhonda and I are proud to be here representing Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh, which is one of the 4 domestic violence programs in Allegheny County. Women's Center and Shelter serves close to 7,000 adult and child victims of domestic violence every year, and we are proud to be a partner in these efforts with you today. You can find our information, both our hotline and our other service information, on our website at wcscanhelp.org. But now, on to the afternoon's program. We would first of all like to welcome many important guests here today. In addition to the speakers that you'll hear from, we'd like to welcome Goldie Ostro, who is one of our sponsors from Z-Brand. So I know Goldie's out there somewhere. We'd like to welcome our executive director from Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Peg Durkers. We would like to welcome from the PCADV board, Rabbi Aaron Bisno and Shelley Renee Brown. Let's give everybody a round of applause. In addition, we would like to thank the Market Square Merchants Association for displaying the posters celebrating these events over the next month in their store windows. And of course, we'd like to thank the sponsors for this event: FedEx, Peoples, the Pittsburgh Pirates, Highmark, Z-Brand, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and UPMC Health Plan. Let's give a round of applause for our generous sponsors.
And now let's thank PCADV and Southwest PA Says No More for partnering to promote hashtag Father's Day Pledge PA activities in Western Pennsylvania. This is the 3rd consecutive year, and we're here today to highlight this year's events. Gender violence is shockingly common in Western Pennsylvania. Last year, 146 Pennsylvanians lost their lives to domestic violence-related homicides. That includes 20 right here in Allegheny County. That's a number way too large to have to think about. This year alone, Allegheny County courts have granted nearly 1,700 temporary protection from abuse orders.
Gender violence is not covered on the news like other crimes, and rarely is it discussed at neighborhood gatherings because we're inured to it. We just accept that it happens and think that there's nothing that we can do about it. The national and state No More campaigns, of which the hashtag Father's Day Pledge PA is an offshoot, aims to change that. As they said in the 60s, we are out to alter your reality. If we are to end gender violence, then everyone must get involved. Everyone. Individuals, businesses, churches, schools, communities. Everyone.
We especially need good men to be involved. Most men are respectful of women and are engaged in healthy relationships. Hashtag Father's Day Pledge PA is asking these good men to step up and to be role models and to be mentors to boys and young men, friends, and acquaintances. We're asking them to stay silent, we're asking them not to stay silent. Very important word right there. But to stand up and to speak up whenever they witness gender violence. As a matter of fact, that's what this campaign is all about. We encourage good men to take the Father's Day Pledge. Please go to www.pasaysnosmore.com. Let me repeat that. pasaysnosmore.com. And sign the pledge to help end gender violence. But don't stop there. Please get involved. Contact your local domestic violence and sexual assault centers to ask how can you help. You'll be surprised there are multiple ways that you can help. Ask your school districts to implement the Coaching Boys into Men program. It is a nationally recognized program that provides coaches with the tools to teach young athletes about healthy relationships. I've witnessed that program. It is awesome. So I also co-sign that. And when you're at the sports bar, don't just talk about the game that you're watching. Don't just talk about the most recent athlete who's been in the news for abusing their partner. Instead, engage in a conversation about masculinity and ask them about their ideas of masculinity. And more importantly, how does that play out in their intimate relationships?
Pittsburgh is widely recognized as one of the most livable cities in the world, and one of the reasons we've not only survived but thrived as a post-industrial city is because of our outstanding leadership. Mayor Peduto exemplifies that tradition. Beginning with when he was a city council person, Mayor Peduto has always been a champion of improving Pittsburgh's 90-plus neighborhoods. He's also been an ally on women's issues, including domestic violence and sexual assault. Under his watch, the City of Pittsburgh Police has implemented an exceedingly important program called the Lethality Assessment Program, a proven model for reducing domestic violence homicides. Women's Center and Shelter, along with the City of Pittsburgh and City of Pittsburgh Police, began this program on December 13th of 2013. Since that time, the police have answered over 3,500 dangerous calls to domestic violence, assaults, and incidents within the City of Pittsburgh, and have found that 71% of those were high-danger calls that they then, along with the victim, called Women's Center and Shelter Hotline. I am very happy to tell you that 62% of those people who called with the police were new clients to Women's Center and Shelter. That's 62% of those folks who likely would not have reached our doors in such an exceedingly important time. And the work that we do at Women's Center and Shelter and across the country and across the world in domestic violence programs, we have both big and small victories. And let me tell you today, we try to focus on the big victories usually, but let me take a second and tell you about a very small victory that we had. We recently, through the Lethality Assessment Program that Mayor Bill Peduto was critical to bringing to this city, we brought into shelter a mom, her 16-year-old daughter, and several of their siblings. While she was in shelter, the 16-year-old, I'll call her Maya, that's not her real name because of confidentiality, but Maya celebrated her 16th birthday. As we do with any child victim who's in the shelter during her birthday, we made a huge deal about it. We had a corporate party that came in and celebrated. We partner with Beverly's Birthdays to bring in a huge, beautiful birthday cake. We really made a big deal about it. And what my favorite part was not just seeing what a fun time Maya had during the party, but hearing her comment, just overhearing her comment after the party to one of the children's program staff, who she ran up and hugged and said, "Thank you so much for my party. If I have to be in a domestic violence shelter when I turn 16, you made it a lot less sucky." And I thought that that was a perfect description. We helped to improve her day. Anything we can do to make things a little less sucky for child victims and adult victims of light for domestic violence makes us happy. And a man who's been critical in this work with us is the mayor. We'd like to bring him up and introduce to you Mayor Bill Peduto.
First off, I have to thank all of the organizations that work on the front lines in Pittsburgh. Many of the people don't realize how cutting edge Pittsburgh is when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault. Coordinated efforts between those that provide the services, city government, our police, nurses that work in the hospitals, universities. We have a coordinated effort that really is a model for the rest of the country, and it comes from those that work at the ground level, the service providers. So thank you. The second thank you goes out to the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you're going to change the outcomes of domestic violence and sexual assault, you have to first change the mindset that it is not okay. It is not your personal business. It is a crime, and it will be pursued as a crime. And that has to come from men. and leaders within our sports figures and others as well to change the mindset of boys. And we have to speak to this directly. And I'm speaking to my brothers right now, every leader in this town has a responsibility to speak out and to say it's not all right. And we have to change that concept. Too many times people feel that what happens inside a home only affects the home. It affects far beyond that. And we have to work within our workplaces, where victims come in and where the signs are very well seen. We have to provide networks within it to our service providers to get them the help that they need. And if a leader of an organization doesn't already have that, I ask you to reach out to the service providers today and make it part of your workplace. Your workplace needs to be more than just the employment center. It must be a safe haven in the help that somebody may need. And finally, to my younger brothers, those that are going to our universities. Sexual assault is very real in Pittsburgh, and it's not talked about, and it destroys lives of young women at a very crucial time of their life. It is not okay, and you have to speak out against your dorm mate, against your teammate, against your fraternity brother, and to be the voice of the victim. And that all requires guts. And that's what we need. If we're going to tackle this issue, it's not about solving it when we have to have police involved. It's about making sure that we never have to have police involved. And that's why it's so critical that men stand up who are leaders, just like the Pirates are doing in these PSAs, and say it's not all right.